Holy shit, we got hit big time.
The entire roof structure's been compromised. We need to get you guys out of here.
When Cyclone Alfred started making its presence felt off southeast Queensland, it came as quite the shock. While the region's endured its fair share of floods, a cyclone hadn't ventured that far south in 5 decades.
I think Cyclone Alfred gives us a wake-up call.
Professor Cheryl Desher did everything she could to prepare her Brisbane home. The Science and Innovation Director at Natural Hazards Research Australia had already started modest cyclone-proofing works last year. Her builder was sceptical, but Cheryl Desher was confident it was a matter of when, not if, a cyclone would hit Brisbane.
The research is really clear that cyclones and severe weather events are coming south along the Queensland and Australian coastline, and that our severe weather events will become more severe.
Cyclone Alfred hovered off the coast as a Category 3, but was downgraded to a Category 1 when it slammed into the islands of Moreton Bay. By the time it reached Brisbane, it was a tropical low, but Alfred still left a trail of destruction. It gouged the Gold Coast's famous beaches. Trees and power lines were felled, causing the biggest power outage from a natural disaster in Queensland's history. And it brought flooding rains.
We are actually in some trouble.
Across the border in New South Wales, parts of the flood-weary Northern Rivers region once again went under. Yet despite the far-reaching damage and the massive hit to the Australian economy, authorities declared the region had dodged a bullet.
It could have been a lot worse. At one stage it could have been a Category 3 crossing the coast, and you'd have to ask whether a lot of the infrastructure would be capable of handling winds of that intensity.
Steve Turton thinks residents and authorities need to treat Cyclone Alfred like a dress rehearsal for worse to come.
This was a good practice run, because we do know that with climate change, the tropical cyclones are moving southward in our hemisphere, quite fast actually, anywhere between 50 to 120 kilometres per decade.
At James Cook University's cyclone testing station, David Henderson is assessing the impacts cyclonic winds have on our homes.
We're getting water coming into our buildings through windows that pass a very low standard. This event highlighted how much water can come into our buildings during an event that's well below our design capacity for strength.
It's a wake-up call for regions that haven't had to factor cyclones into their disaster planning until now. In Queensland, there are specific building guidelines for homes in cyclone-prone areas, that is, from Cape York down to Bundaberg. There are now calls for those cyclone ratings to apply along the entire Queensland coast and extend into New South Wales.
I would suggest it needs to go down to at least Coffs Harbour.
Just because it's not officially on the map as a cyclone zone, cyclones don't read the map.
As 2 states count the cost of the disaster, Cheryl Desher believes Alfred has given us an opportunity, so long as we're willing to heed its lessons.
To be able to have those conversations now about what it could mean for a Category 2 or a 3, that's something that has us pause. And really we're waking up to what that might mean for the severe weather events that are in front of us.